Right. I'm getting mine. I'll cheers you. My mineral water and your liqueur.
We're back. It's only 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Had to take a week off because it was blistering hot, and we were moving a bunch of stuff. So, how you feeling? Cooled off?
I mean, I'm all right.
All right. Well, we're gonna get back into this mini bike. Every good project starts with a shopping spree, does it not?
Well,
So,
yeah.
I did a little shopping. I got this. I used this on the other chopper. It worked out really good. It's just the spring for the Springer fork on like a lowrider style bicycle. So this will be the chromy springy detail up here somewhere, if you can dig it. My friend Evan Rubel Custom Fabrication, RCF.com. He makes all those mini bikes. He saw what was going on. A problem I was having with these tires was I had no rims, and they're pretty wide tires on a 6-inch rim. So he's like, yeah, I gave you those hubs. They're very heavy duty, but you're going to be hard pressed to find a rim for that'll fit that hub. So he said, I got these two old go-kart rims. You can see super wide, really good balloon tires, but I don't like the ratio of the tire to the front wheel. So I can dismount these and use the wheels, use the rims for those big honking tires there. So that's the good news. He also said if you're going to run a solid axle, a live axle with no differential, and I knew this as well, with this steering arrangement, it's probably not going to steer at all. These two rear tires are going to be locked. That front thing is just going to tilt over. It's just going to scrub. So he said, do the old one-legger trick, and I was thinking the same thing. So it'll be only one-wheel drive, so it'll make easier turns one way than the other, but it will steer nonetheless. All the steering geometry, we got a lot of comments about that, and I agree with just about every one of the critiques, the criticisms, having to do with the trail angle, with the angle of these rockers here. They should be closer to horizontal. We're going to get into all that once we decide what the final ride height's going to be. So this is all mock-up in the front end. Today we're concentrating on the rear end. These rims are cool. He sent me these hubs. So this would be a solid axle going straight through, similar to what you see on an ATC or whatnot. He said, no, I can get you a hub with a bearing in it. Look at the size difference. Super light, super strong, and they fit the bolt pattern in that rim perfectly. So what it would be is this sprocket. The sprocket bolts up directly to the hub. So here's the sprocket in pieces. So that being said, see, it's one-wheel drive. So it spins the one wheel instead of spinning the entire axle. So the layout and the fabrication would be to have these two in parallel through the back end, just like it was a single axle. So yeah, independent rear wheels, only one being powered. A couple things I got to figure out. The offset of this rim. You can see the hub way down inside, right? So how do you bolt the sprocket to that? You know what I'm saying? Sprocket's got to be out here so that it can mate up with the engine. So I'm going to have to come up with some kind of a spacer, adapter, or whatever. I'm going to call Evan about that. He also sent these cool exhaust tips. He's like, I don't know, man, maybe you could use them. They're pretty sweet.
Cool.
Yeah, so those are neat. I don't know, I think maybe it's a single cylinder, so maybe like a little mini muffler. I don't know. It's just a little bling. And speaking of bling, yes, de la resistance. Got some cool spokes in the front. I don't want it to look like your typical go-kart, you know, with the aluminum spun wheels, hubs, etc. So I started looking around and I came across these things for golf carts on Amazon. And if you know me, you know I love old school mag wheels, right? Look at these little hubcaps.
That's so cute. That
That
totally gives the Hot Wheel. What
that's
is
the
it?
look, the five spoke
The
Krager
big
style,
wheel.
right?
Yeah.
So big fat rubber, cool five spoke, and then the wire spokes in the front. Yeah,
That does. It gives it the big wheel look. I
we're on
love
a
it.
mission. I'm gonna put these on here just for inspiration. Because what we're up to today, we're gonna spice this all up. It's so hot, I don't want to do a lot of cutting and grinding. I mean, look at that. Look at that arrangement. See that and the spoked rim, the big,
Cute.
massive, slick style. So yeah, a lot of progress done in the mock-up and theory stage. We were excited about this next portion in the last video, but I said let's not let the cat out of the bag. Uh, this is going to be there's going to be a body on this, similar to like the Roth's Mailbox Trike,
Which I
the
love.
C-cab style body with a little shade canopy. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to have a little arts and crafts hour with the paper and the crayons, and we're going to see how I can fit on this. Because we may modify the chassis a little bit. If it gets too tight, I can lengthen it. You know, we want the rake of the head tube to be conducive to the overall monster in a little box look type of thing. So I feel like we should just start with that. Maybe we'll weld. I don't know. Got a bunch of loose ends, but we also got a bunch of paper. Now let's see. So if anybody saw that cool little Model T kind of C-cab truck thing my friend Alan and I built, the Mr. T episode, we used the same process. I took a piece of board, stuck it up on the table. In this case, we're lucky. We can wedge it right up against the wood there. Cool. So see, now we got kind of a blank canvas. I'm going to hop up here and sit, and I'm going to mark where my shoulders are, where my noggin is, and where my knees are. Shoulder, knees, and noggin technique. So you can dig it now, right?
Yep.
All right. All right, so if I'm sitting here, again, this is pretty low. Just to say, you know, my hands are here, my elbows are here, so we're going to want room for the elbows. And my head, you be a deer and grab that long steel or aluminum ruler on the top of the toolbox.
And I just want to say, if the audio sounds weird today, it's because this is what's allowing us to work.
To live. You ever seen those ladies at the burlesque shows that balance the sword? See, so we're right in this area here. Get it?
Uh-huh.
So we're going to have a seat, so I'm going to err in the side of that. And then, you know, it's a lot about look, but basically we're coming out over here like this. You know, I think we could keep it just like on this side. Damn it. I think we'll be all right. Cool. So that's not a lot of info. But just to say, you know, if we wanted this to come back a little bit further behind that, right? Because those examples had a pretty wild layout. You know, like they might come back like from here. They might come back like that, right? Then who knows how far forward. Could even be more like that. So, you know, we want the elbows to come out. We're thinking something like that, but you know, my wish list was this. Fella gave me those.
Yes.
Right? So maybe this would just follow this. Chunk it up a little bit more in the back. Right? Maybe something like that. I know it's super loose, but we're going to lay it down on the flat and work it out. Yeah, so. Trying to complement this. So, I mean, that looks a little square, right? It just looks like a little, like you would see it in the van like that. So we want something with a little forward action. So I think that's fair. Let's just say if we had this, right? But then we want a little attitude also. We don't want anything Squaresville. Right? We're following this around. And this, like, we don't want that Squaresville either. We want it sort of like this. Let's cut that out. Let's see. I use the little scissors for this task. I gotta say, I was inspired by this fella. I'll have to look up his name right now. It's worth tucking on. He's building, you know the car that Urkel drives, the little Izetta?
Uh-huh.
He's building like a Winnebago style Izetta. Sort of like the house car Alan and I and Jamie built for the pool cabana. Let me find his name. Super cool project. I think it's Mikey something. Mikey Brown. Paper to pavement. So it's currently in stages of mock-up, but
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
so I was just kind of feeling the vibe of, like, you know, the big box on wheels type of thing. Look him up, Mikey Brown. All right, now what does the inside line look like? Because I'm clearing my elbow. Again, that's kind of chilling like that. Yeah, I like that. So then here, like the C cab look is, you know, the C in here. So, you know, we got about this much all the way around. So yeah, we're gonna want to stay somewhere in this realm here, just to complement the curve on that. And then, like, how do we transition into the roof without making it look too bulky, you know? I don't know. And then the C, of course, is kind of like down, down. That looks a little sloppy. Thinking more like this. More like this. I don't know. That's a rough idea. Let's cut it. Good. It's interesting. One of the things about me and art is I've never been a really good illustrator or even a sketch artist. Bit of a sketchy artist. But I've always felt by making physical, tangible pieces, it's easier for me to come up with dimensions. So this is about as tight as I'll get with any kind of idea on paper. Once it's in 3D, I start to envision it a little bit better. It's kind of like a big question mark.
It really does look
Story
like
of my life.
question mark.
Right? Let's just stand back and look at that with the front tire out. I love these things. Seeing anything in that?
Yes.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Awesome. Let me stand back. I'm seeing it.
I love it.
Let's put the window in here. We can really verify. This looks a little bit weird, right? From here to here. Let's put the window in and then figure it out. All right, so I was having a little problem right through here. Let's put the thing in. Take this off. The heat messes with everything. All the little seals are starting to expand. Everything is heated up, stretching out of position. All right, there it is. Yeah, it looks like right through here. Just needs a little love. That helps it. It was really just kind of a round. I don't like perfectly round shapes unless I'm trying that. I always like ellipses or this kind of kidney bean sort of, I mean, more like a boomerang kind of thing. Kidney beans are cool too. Kidney bean would be referenced by the slots in the mags. All right, put a little piece of safety tape on this so we don't fly it out onto the floor when we stand it up.
If we were in a cartoon, that would be your cartoon car right now. Seriously. Like, I feel like, oh my gosh, I love it.
Something about right here isn't working. Yeah. Now this might be too big, and this is a little bit weird. So I think this is gonna start to come down like this. Still needs developing, but let me sit in there and take a look. So the idea is when I sit in it, hopefully my shoulders will be in here and my head will be in here somewhere. Maybe I could look out the side window, I don't know. Told you it was gonna be weird.
I think it'd be hilarious if you could peek out the side window. Oh my God.
Do you see the top of my head?
No.
Feeling me now? You want to take a snapshot with my camera of this?
Yes, I do. Actually, I'll just do it with mine. I'll stop this. We're back. Take 2. The phone cooled down.
Ooh-wee. All right, so after conferring with my associates, we're going to make one little modification to this. I trimmed up here a little, trimmed over here, but right through here, where the window bottom is, in the end, I'm going to take this and put a little more room out and down. But that's going to be done with a steel frame for the real thing. I think now what I want to talk about is the gas tank. I love coffin gas tanks, coffin chopper tanks. So we're going to have a modified coffin tank. Do you know what a coffin tank is?
No. Well, it is like long.
It is long.
Like a coffin.
Yes.
Is it shaped like a coffin?
There's a lot of different shapes, but typically you'll see them sort of in a diamond shape where they're narrow, and then they get wide for the shoulders, and then
Yeah.
they come down to the feet. So using the dimensions of this tank, I was thinking about a coffin tank that came down here and out and down. So it just kind of hovered above the engine. So it's sort of like a pudgy coffin tank. How do you feel about that?
I like it.
We're in the same team.
It's 100 degrees, so I like everything Ian says.
Let's take this and trace the frame. So this is here. And I had 2 marks here, so that means they were the same. Let's drop them down. Now let's measure right here. I'll put that on there. I'm going to trace this side. All right. I'm going to cut that out. All right. I'm going to tape this right to the frame. So just a word of advice, fabrication is not all cutting and welding. It's a lot of this. Because you got to have your idea before you start to work. Or at the same time, but it's not all just cut and weld. It's a lot of this. Cool. So that'll be the front face of the tank. Now, you know, if you had, again, using the mechanical pieces as our guide, in thinking, okay, I sat up here with my body and decided how this thing could shroud me, sort of like a sunshade or a little hideout or a hut or doghouse. So I had my big old self up there. So now it's like, okay, well, the valve cover is the outside perimeter of that, right? So maybe that's our next triangle. Or do we want to have some attitude? Maybe we want it to come out.
Personally, I vote for attitude because I have an attitude.
I like your style. So let's just say if we come out, the whole piece is going to be 20 inches. So to break that into 3, 6 times 3 is 18, so 6 point whatever, 6.33333 inches. That's a third. So just to say 6.5 would bring that triangle to here, and then down, or we do maybe 8, and then down. I think 6.
Yeah, because
that would be more of the coffin.
Yeah, and you don't look like you'd fit as well.
So let's match that. 6 inches right here. That up. Just simplify this. Here, I'll use this one. We got this. Then we can do a number of things with the lower one. Because again, with the whole chopper thing, typically tall and skinny. You know, it's kind of the look with the long bikes, tall and skinny. So that's pretty tall and skinny, right? So we're going to come down maybe 12 inches now. And we're going to go back to this dimension. We're going to go 12 by 2.5. We got it. We're going to find the center. Center of 2.5 is 1.25. This is how big. At 12, we want it to be 7.25. We have it just enough. Now I need a bigger piece. Let's just say, just start out with a square-ish line. Oops, I said a square-ish line. All right, so we want 7.25. 7.25. I believe half of that's 3 5/8. 3 5/8, correct. Now we have a center. And at 12, we want 7. 12 is 7 inches wide. I said 2.5, correct? 2.25. That's 1 1/8. All right. Cut that. That. Might modify that a little, but that's a good rough starting point. I think I'm probably going to bring that up a little bit, but just for conversations, just take that off. I'm trying to get out of here already. So that would be 13.5, 14, 12.5. I like that. I like 13. So let's do 13 from 4.5 to 2.5. We're going to go 4.5, 13, 1 and 2.5, correct? 2.25, 1 1/8. So give or take. Now that being said, the side panels, it would be cut from here to there to there. We could actually make a bubble window in the gas tank. Hold on, I'm getting out of control. Get dizzy in the heat.
A bubble window in the gas tank? Is that what you were going to say?
Maybe. I feel like this break kind of doesn't complement that. I feel like it should be folded here. I'm going to put that in the break and redo it. I'm going to make that fold right here. This is why using cardboard is a lot more efficient than remaking stuff out of steel. It's so nuclear hot, doesn't even fucking rip. So yeah, see, I moved this down a little bit. More like that. Because there's going to be a facet, see, from here to here. That's going to be another triangle. Let's see how that adds up. I'm just going to put the cardboard on this side so I can see it easier. See, this doesn't really matter, this bend anymore. It's going to be straight line from there to there. And that. That goes there like that. And the last part will be this one. So that's not really coffin-esque on the side view, is it?
No, I don't know. I'm not sure.
So a coffin tank proper would be something like this. I think that's what we're going to end up with. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to fill in the bottom like that. And now we know every bike needs a tube coming across the top, right? So I think like the I did this old school kind of board track racer style bike where the gas tank hung below the main top tube. So I think our top tube is going to come from here, right over the tank to the headset. So the tank is going to float below the framework. How far are we into this?
Like, long enough.
Huh?
Long enough.
That's just a quick little theory session. We're working on stuff. Having these hubcaps got me feeling like this with the bubble windows and the chain wheel. I mean, weird enough for me.
I love it.
Let's do some fabrication next time. Steel work. See you then.